It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's Memorial Day. Of course, we're honoring and mourning the U.S. military personnel who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. And we are honoring and mourning, but there is a degree of acknowledgement and celebration. If you've ever lost someone, they probably told you, or if you've been told by someone else, yes, I may be gone or I may be leaving, but still celebrate in remembrance. It doesn't mean that we cannot have a good time on this Memorial Day. It does not mean that we cannot have the proverbial barbecue. It does not mean that we can't possibly enjoy a sale at a big box retailer, but we still have to keep front and center the contributions of those who fell in protection of the United States. So no, it's not Veterans Day. No, it's not necessarily a happy day, but we will acknowledge, commemorate, mourn, and remember those who fell in service of the United States Armed Forces. With that in mind, there are more members who served on my wife's side of the family than my side of the family. And oftentimes I'll hear some of the stories from her side of the family. My brother-in-law, who's now law enforcement, did, I think, 6 different tours, and how he managed not to die. He's Army Ranger, Special Forces. So he's seen some stuff. He's done some stuff. And we don't even have those conversations. I'm not that guy who's going to say, so tell me about this or tell me about that. No, not at all. Those are his stories and memories. And if he wants to open up, then I will listen to him. On my mother's side of the family, we had some naval intelligence officers who worked, I would say, during the Korean War, served during the Korean War and the Vietnam War. My late great uncle was a civil rights photographer, and you get some of the stories from there. But this day, the point is, this day can be a painful remembrance for them. And there's an acknowledgement of those. Sometimes it's survivor's guilt. I can't speak for you. I know about your brother, Tuala. Sometimes it's survivor's guilt that people they remember on this day who did not make it to this day.
The interesting things that my brother would always tell me about his time in the Army, and his time overseas, on the DMZ, and the horrors he would tell me that would happen just in training accidents, just in friendly fire accidents. It's a miracle that he made it back. And he would tell me oftentimes about that desire to wanting to go overseas to fight. You know, I could never understand it. And he said it's something that the lay person, something that those who have not been in it could never understand. He said you can never understand what goes through men and women, and that camaraderie and that desire you feel to go and fight alongside your brothers and sisters on the front lines. But there is something to that. He always wanted to go out. Of course, as his brother, I'm glad he didn't. And because again, the horrors that he would tell, it's shocking. It is shocking the things that our soldiers deal with before they're even deployed onto the front lines. Just what can happen on base, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we wanted to start with this and set the tone. Yes, we will have some fun before the evening is over. Yes, we're going to talk about the things like movies and what have you, but we wanted to at least set the tone to let you know that we're fully aware and we are fully thankful. And we're going to acknowledge and remember those sacrifices of those we know, those we do not know, because this day has varying levels of importance and significance. And I just know that the fullness of today is not solemnity, but you have to include it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to even embrace it. I think that's the only way we can do justice and respectfully honor those who've given that ultimate sacrifice. It's not enough to just go out and sit by the pool and maybe have a barbecue. I mean, that's a part of it if you understand the sacrifices which allow it. You can have it, but I can't think you can respectfully enjoy it if there's not also the acknowledgement of how we got to this place. And that's something I try to be a little bit more introspective on days like these. Yeah, we talk about things which are silly and unserious, but still, at the back of my mind and right now at the front of my mind, think about why we are here, how we are here. For all the complaints about America, still, it's the best country in the world. It has its warts. It has its problems. And we talk about those all the time. But the luxury, my word, the luxury of being able to talk about it, the luxury of me being able to sit here and, let's say, goof off for 3 hours is a direct result of the sacrifices of those men and women who did not come home. It's just plain and simple.
I think that, and this is something that, anytime we talk about Veterans Day, Memorial Day, or any day where there's some discount being given to troops, and I've gotten some messages about people saying like, at least they're giving something, because I oftentimes complain about there being discounts versus just outright giving our troops what they deserve. I wholeheartedly believe that not enough is done for our troops, those who do come home. When I think about some of the things that my brother goes through dealing with the VA and even people that I work with at the school, just the stories that I hear about the outright disrespect that they receive at the VA, individuals that are supposed to be getting treatment for things that they underwent and things that they survived that they should be getting just taken care of outright. When I think about the number of people who are unhoused in this country who are former soldiers, that is the ultimate disrespect and disgrace for this country. When we talk about homeless, when we talk about care, and we do not care for those who are willing to go on and put their lives on the front line for this country, we have to do more for our men and women who serve and are willing to put their lives on the line, period.
May is also National Military Appreciation Month. And yes, we focus, maybe rightly or wrongly, on Memorial Day, but it is National Military Appreciation Month. So let's keep all this as part of our conversations tonight as we continue all the way to 10 o'clock. We're live here on Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And when we come back, we're going to talk about LA Fleet Week and the dodgeball battle champion, which was newly crowned yesterday.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I don't know if you knew this. I didn't actually know it, but for 10 years, more than 1,000 sailors, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have joined their military peers at sites around the Port of Los Angeles to celebrate the past, present, and future of the U.S. Armed Forces. San Francisco, Miami, Portland are among other cities that hold similar Fleet Week festivities. But in the Port of Los Angeles, bringing home the win in their first tournament appearance in the name of the country's newest guided missile destroyer, the USS Levin, crew credited their win to teamwork. Dodgeball battle champion. Now, I wish I could have been there because the Port of Los Angeles is not too far from where I used to live. I would go there all the time. But to see members of our armed forces squaring off in dodgeball probably would have been very cool. Very, very, very cool.
I'm sure that ball is going at 100 miles an hour. I'm sure it's not your average game of dodgeball.
Oh, no. When you're talking about competitive dodgeball, they're not trying to literally kill each other, but they're trying to beat the hell out of each other. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're leaving that court with some welts, some marks. You get hit the wrong way with a dodgeball, you're out for the day.
I know just in my family and I'll listen to my brother-in-law. He's my closest point of contact. He will always talk about the other branches of the armed service, like, oh no, they're not this or they're not that. I mean, it is in good spirit, it's in good fun, good natured, but at the same time, whenever they're around each other, there's a healthy respect.
It's a friendly rivalry.
Oh, sometimes unfriendly. Sometimes unfriendly. Sometimes they can really, really go there. Like, some members of the Army in my family, they'll hear about the Air Force. Like I was just playing their march song. And I said, oh, that's not the Air Force. That's the Chair Force. They don't do anything. I was like, look, okay, I'm not going to get in all that.
Yeah.
That's between y'all. That's between y'all. They call the U.S. Coast Guard, the Coasties, or the Puddle Pirates. It's like, golly,
Wow.
No, I'm just saying that's what they say. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in the spirit of competition and friendly ribbing, that's what usually happens. But I would have loved, I want to make it a point. If I'm in town, to go out to the Port of Los Angeles. And in this Fleet Week, the service members from the Navy and the team of Marines from 29 Palms were especially excited to win, of course, in honor of their branch's 250th anniversary.
I actually broke my arm playing dodgeball when I was a kid.
How?
I think that was because I tried, the ball was, I guess we were like 8th graders, and I tried to get into a game with some seniors. And thinking I was, I can do this. And one of them threw a ball so hard, and I had my hands down trying to see if I could catch it, and it hit the tips of my fingers and bent my arm back with such force.
I'm saying it broke your arm.
Yeah. Hairline fracture in my forearm.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It was the onlyest break I've ever had, but hairline fracture from that.
Let me digress for a second. Think about all the games that we used to be able to play when we were in grade school that are disallowed now. Absolutely illegal. You can't play dodgeball.
They don't do it anymore.
Are you allowed to play kickball anymore?
I think kickball's a thing, but not like it's not cool anymore.
I don't know. Can you do the tetherball with the pole and everything?
They have a tetherball. Well, they did when my kids were in like 5th, 6th grade.
I don't know. I don't think they have the monkey bars anymore.
They have the monkey bars. I was going to say tetherball, I feel like is only in like the Midwest now.
Yeah, because in my elementary school, they had to get rid of the tetherball. They had to get rid of the monkey bars.
Why'd they have to get rid of the tetherball?
I guess parents were complaining it was too dangerous. People were hitting the ball too hard and come around and smack a kid in the face. I just thought it was a rite of passage, but that was just me. Look, I'm sorry.
No, my daughter, she tethered.
Oh, remember Red Rover? Red Rover, send Mark Ronner over. And he would have to run from the other side, from the other team, and try to break the clasp of two schoolmates on the other side. You can't play that anymore.
Nobody ever said that. Nobody wanted me.
No, but I remember that was such a fun game, and teachers would watch it, no one would think any of it. And then you get older and realize, yeah, that probably wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah.
No.
I was a big fan of lawn darts. I miss those. I've got a box of lawn darts.
I think they call them jarts.
Yeah, jarts. Yeah.
The stuff that we used to play with, and no one thought anything of it. And it was kind of dangerous because those jarts were sharp.
Well, you're not supposed to throw them at the other kids' heads, but kids are kids.
Kids are kids.
But if you're in a park and you just throw it up in the air, we would throw it up in the air and then we'd have to dodge it. We were, it's like an incoming missile.
Yeah.
And it was like, here it goes.
You all are insane.
No, but I was saying, like, it's coming down and it was stupid. But
That's like that game where you play where you throw it up and see who's the last person to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in this case, who's the person who gets impaled?
Yeah.
That was the part of the game. That was the whole point.
Sometimes you win.
Sometimes you lose.
Sometimes you get impaled.
Oh, God. No.
I miss those days. This would be a day that we as kids, we would be outside playing with firecrackers because 4th of July is coming up.
Yeah.
Playing, I don't know, football in the street from pole to pole and drinking water out of a water hose. Nobody died.
Bicycle jumps. Don't forget those.
I was not allowed to do bicycle jumps. My mother said it was too dangerous, which it was.
Everybody wanted to be Evel Knievel.
Oh, absolutely. And
I was jumped over.
We
landed on.
We had the crates and like the linoleum as the ramp or even a wood panel. And we would jump to a descending ramp, just like Evel Knievel. And it was really, really dumb. I remember one time I did fall and knocked out a tooth. It was a baby tooth, but so I was still really young. Yeah.
No, I laid in between the ramp. Friend of mine had his bike, and we put on some bricks. So we had the ramp up on some bricks, but some wall bricks, some of those square bricks. So we had the one end going up on one, and you would come down over the other. I laid down in between. All right. And as he was going
and
up,
nothing told you that was a dumb idea.
Because as kids, you don't know that Evel Knievel had some scientific knowledge.
Every bone in his body.
We still thought it was gonna be good, but when he went up, the brick folded down, and he ended up just rolling right over me. So the brick went down, the board went down, just
wow,
just went right over my stomach. A lot of tears were shed that day.
Well, that's the risk you run for being a childhood thrill seeker. It was important to have kids lie down right in front of the jump, like especially like with their face
right in front of the jump.
Yeah.
Yes.
We fancied ourselves as daredevils. We really did. And if you're not old enough to remember, ABC Wide World of Sports
Oh yeah.
would have these presentations on Saturday, usually of Evel Knievel or something else. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
Uh-huh.
And oftentimes it was Evel Knievel, and he would do a stunt, and it would end up failing. And I remember watching Snake River Canyon live.
Wow.
And I was
with the jet cycle.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I was so upset because there was all this lead up, and this was a world in which there wasn't pay-per-view, there wasn't the internet, it was just what you could find out on TV, and to see him with Snake River Canyon jumping that, and it was in the middle of the day, so I was able to watch it. And if you don't know what happened, the rocket took off, the parachute deployed too early.
He didn't even come close.
No, and he floated slowly down into the canyon, and I was so heartbroken. I might have even cried or something like that. But it was ABC Wide World of Sports, usually on Saturday mornings, and that was a Saturday morning sort of just ritual for me.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition.
They usually had a sponsor, too.
This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Brought to you by the makers of Vicks Sinex Spray.
There it is.
Those who prefer Vicks Sinex. By Sears, home of the steel-belted radio that ran the route of the Pony Express. Sears Road Handler.
Sears.
And by Rolaids. For acid indigestion, Rolaids. Rolaids spells relief. Consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid.
Begging for advertisers back there. Now, big finish. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And when we come back, we're going to tell you about the top 10 places to raise a family as we continue to observe, honor, and remember on this Memorial Day.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app on this Memorial Day. Let's talk about the top 10 places to raise a family in the United States, according to WalletHub. The study evaluated over 180 U.S. cities across 45 key metrics, including housing, affordability, quality of local schools and healthcare systems, also family fun and recreation opportunities to determine this ranking. The metrics were graded on a 100-point scale, with 100 representing the best city to raise a family in, according to WalletHub. Coming in at number 10. San Diego, California. I'd believe that. Yeah, I could deal with that. Coming in at number 9. The best places to raise a family, according to WalletHub. Bismarck, North Dakota. Pass. I'm quite sure it's great. Quite sure it's scenic. Quite sure it's beautiful, idyllic. Have no desire. None.
Plenty of room to spread out with the family there.
I'm quite sure the property values, it's very affordable, inexpensive to buy you a palatial estate. But it's Bismarck, North Dakota.
Yeah. No.
Number 8. Gilbert, Arizona. Nah.
No, it's too much heat, man.
Nah.
Too much heat.
Yeah.
Too much heat.
No, we'll pass. Number 7. Boise, Idaho. Too much KKK. I'll pass.
Yeah, what, the Manson family? What family are we talking about
Hey,
here?
look, it's number 7.
Yeah,
number
to raise
7.
your kids in
Very
the cult.
sus.
Yeah.
Sus.
Mark, don't go anywhere. Number 6. Seattle, Washington.
Well, it is nice, even though it's not as nice as it was, and it's just as expensive as here now.
I know. When you put affordability, that seemingly to me would be one of the biggest things to consider. When you're talking about a family, let's say 2 kids, 3 kids, it adds up real quick when in a place where property values are high and the cost of living's high.
Yeah, forget about ever taking the family out to dinner in Seattle.
Number 5. South Burlington, Vermont. Okay.
Random.
Yeah, it really very random.
How did Burlington get on the list? Okay.
Look, I'm sure Freeport, Maine is beautiful or whatever. I have no idea. But
Choo-choo trains? What do they got?
I'm sure it's nice.
it's nice. Put it this way. Raise a family is different from what I would want personally. I don't know how inexpensive it is. It says family fun rank 163.
That's pretty low.
Yeah, it is. Health and safety rank 108.
That's low.
But education and child care rank number 1.
Oh.
For whatever it's worth.
But see, that's where your argument with affordability.
Yes.
It better be real affordable.
Number 4 of the best places to raise a family in the United States, according to Wallet Hub. Irvine, California. Number 31 in family fun rank. Number 3 in health and safety rank. And number 3 in education and child care rank. Irvine, compared to the rest of the United States, is not exactly inexpensive.
Yeah.
All right. So it's all relative. Number 3 of the top 10 places to raise a family in the United States, according to Wallet Hub. Plano, Texas. Bump that. Nope. That gives
There's
us enough start a
nowhere in
family.
Texas. No. Scratch Texas.
I
off the
don't
list.
dislike Dallas. It's urban enough for me. I don't care for Houston. I don't think I've been to Austin.
Even Dallas is getting some kind of way. No.
Number 2 of the 10 best places to raise a family in the United States. Overland Park, Kansas. Very random.
Okay.
With tornadoes?
Well,
No.
it says to raise a family doesn't mean to avoid tornadoes.
No.
That's not one of the considerations.
It should be, because this is Tornado Alley.
I agree. I would rather deal with earthquakes than tornadoes or hurricanes, without a doubt. Coming in number 1, the best place to raise a family in all of the United States, according to Wallet Hub. Fremont, California. Get the F out of here.
Okay, since I'm not from here, you've got to explain this to me.
I can't. Family fun rank, it's 86. Health and safety rank comes in number 4. Education and child care rank number 2.
It's also not cheap.
That too.
Fremont is not cheap. That a friend of mine had their wedding out in that area, but driving through, it is beautiful.
It is. Driving through, wouldn't want to live there. I don't know, but whatever.
It's not that far from Silicon Valley.
And that's part of the reason
I
why
was going to
it's
say
not
that's part of it.
inexpensive. Yes. Location. Yeah. But can you raise a family of 4 there with income under $1 million? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that's even feasible. So yeah, you might as well just pick the most expensive places ever. Those are probably the best places to raise kids because not anyone and everyone can live there.
Yeah, you need some qualifications for this list, like best places to live if you have unlimited income. And what is this, Wallet Hub?
Unlimited income and you don't want to ever have fun. Ever.
I think of all the hubs, Wallet may be one of the lower hubs.
And what can Wallet Hub really look? Wallet Hub will put these things together, and let's be honest, it's a free advertisement for Wallet Hub. No one knows about Wallet Hub.
You figured that out.
No one cares about Wallet Hub. But I've said Wallet Hub at least 45 times this segment. Mission accomplished. There you go. Fremont, California, the place that nobody wants to live, with the exception of people who work in Silicon Valley. It's later with Mo Kelly as we continue on this Memorial Day. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, did you know Planet Fitness has a special offer, but just for teenagers? We'll tell you about it in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Yes, we are live at KFI right now. We're live on the iHeartRadio app on this Memorial Day. And if you can remember back when you were in high school, depending on the decade, you may have or may not have had PE, physical education. I was in band and I also played basketball, so those were my PE credits when I was in high school. And also I was doing Hapkido after school. That's where I got my exercise. But today, I don't know if there's actual PE anymore. And I'm not the only one who wonders about this, because Planet Fitness has a high school summer pass, and it is going to be for those teenagers ages 14 to 19 to work out for free at any of its 2,500 Planet Fitness locations across the U.S. and Canada this summer between June 1st and August 31st. How quickly this world has changed, because I remember growing up, and it was a long time ago since I do the math. When I was growing up, I was not allowed to stay in the house. My mother would tell me, go outside, go somewhere. You are not going to sit in the house and play video games. You're not going to sit in the house and watch TV. So my time was spent outside, riding my bike, playing football. There was no time to just be sedentary, especially during the summer. But how quickly things have changed, or not quickly, but how strange is how we've gone in the other direction, where we have to give free passes and reasons and excuses, seemingly for teenagers to work out, to exercise, to do something other than sit on their phones or watch TV, streaming movies, texting, just being sedentary. 3 in 4 teens, according to this, are self-conscious and confess they struggle with body positive issues, 43%. Something that's been consistent in years past. 85% of teens feel that there's no better time than right now to concentrate on improving their health. About 7 in 10, which is 70%, teens report that staying off social media and their phones helps them cope with the challenges they're facing. Absolutely. Nothing will stress you out more than doom scrolling. Nothing will agitate you more than staying on social media. So I understand what Planet Fitness is trying to do with this high school summer pass program. I'm just curious whether it actually resonates with someone who's a teenager today. I don't know. My boys are all in their 20s and 30s now, so it's even a different world for them. But I don't know if kids now have any focus on physical activity in the way that we did. When summer rolled around, and let's be honest, summer's basically here because it's Memorial Day. When summer rolled around, that's the time I think people wanted to be more active than other times, because we didn't have homework to do. We didn't necessarily have someone looking over our shoulder all the time. We weren't at school, so we had more genuine free time.
I was just saying, and then you wanted to be outside because that was your freedom as a kid.
Yeah.
Like you said, no one's looking over your shoulder. No one's telling you to, finish that assignment. You're outside. You're on your bikes. You're, hanging out.
My bike, and I had a 10-speed. It was a yellow 10-speed. Don't ask me why it was yellow. I think it was the only color that was available. I'm just being serious. I would never chosen it. Yeah. But that was my car back then, because we had the bus, but I didn't have any money. It wasn't expensive, but the bus didn't necessarily go all the places that I wanted to go. 10-speed would take me anywhere I wanted to go. But I got a lot of exercise just riding my bike every damn day, every single place. But the best time to do it was during the summer, because I didn't have anything infringing upon my time. Yeah, we would play some Atari 2600 video games. Yeah, we play some in television or ColecoVision, but that wouldn't take up the fullness of our day. The adults around us wouldn't allow it. They wanted us out of the house as well.
That would be more at night.
Well, actually, it was actually the earlier part of the day, because even in the summer, I had to be in when the streetlights were on. Now, in the summer, the streetlights would come on at 7:30ish, depending on the month. But obviously the days were longer.
Changes, yeah.
But we played in the street. Kids now, they don't play anywhere. One reason, I would say generally is more violent. America's just more violent in many ways. You don't have 9 or 10 kids playing in the street football anymore. If they are, I haven't seen it, and I don't know when. I don't see kids playing in the driveway playing basketball. I just don't see that anymore. I don't know if kids still go to the public pool. I don't know. But clearly, I'm not the only one who wonders, yes, this is a promotion by Planet Fitness, but it's specifically geared to teenagers. So I'm not the only one who's recognizing that young people are more connected to their phones and less likely to exercise than ever before. I wonder, long-term studies, what they will show about kids who grew up after 2001, the addicted to the phone generation, how they will age in their 40s and 50s compared to our generation.
Oh, they're all going to need dribble cups. You got to remember that part of the reason that we got exercise and read books when we were younger is that there wasn't that much to do.
True.
And I just sent you, I don't know if you saw this, I sent you a clip of somebody trying to watch the Playboy channel through all the interference on their cable box.
Oh, like me.
The Scramble channel.
The Scramble channel,
Yeah,
yes.
that's how desperate we were. I think if I had access to the internet, porn as a teenager, video games, and streaming movies and TV, I never would have cracked a book. I would have been an idiot.
Well,
Don't.
Some things are inevitable.
Well, no, you take my point though, because
Absolutely.
some things you do because of a dearth of choices. I wouldn't have been a huge bookworm if I had every single entertainment option available to me at the time. I mean, I would rather have watched like a violent movie or something.
I'm looking at what you sent me via text.
Yeah.
This could not be more accurate. We had On TV. There was On and there was Select, and they'd have the Scramble channel, I would say maybe after 10 o'clock at night. And they were like skin flicks. It wasn't like porn. It was like soft porn.
Oh, like Skinamax.
Yeah, they would show nudity and simulated sex, but it wasn't like hardcore, you know. You know,
But then when it's scrambled, you try to catch something. You're
I
like,
was like, that's a nipple. I saw that. That was a nipple.
Oh yeah. That's what you do at your friend's house after school before their parents get home from work, and then you quickly change the channel when you hear the car approaching and the garage door opening.
Oh, good times. We were the latchkey generation where we were actually at home by ourselves, unsupervised. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
It's Memorial Day.
Today we pay solemn tribute to our fallen countrymen. We know we can never give them as much as they gave us, but we also know that our generation and succeeding generations can, by keeping the flame of freedom burning brightly, ensure that they did not die in vain.
Don't forget to raise a glass to the people that defend our freedom.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.